welcome to Talking Game, and it's the preview for the quarter-final of the FA Cup between Manchester United and West Ham United, with a space up at Wembley for grabs. There'll be loads of fans travelling up there on Sunday from London, but enough about the home fans. There's also 9,000 West Ham fans going as well. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on Man U this season?
I think they've been deceptively rubbish, but they've started to sort of creep up there a little bit in the league in any case, and despite I think Gaal's had a poor season. I don't think he's going to be in the job long term, and considering they've spent as much money as they have, I think they've spent something like 250 million in the last 200 years. They seem to be lacking a bit of sparkle, and you know I went up there for the game at Old Trafford, which was 0-0. They're lacking that sort of X factor player that a club like Man United should probably have.
Jason, do you share the same views on that? Is this a really poor season for Man U, or is it just a slow rebuilding process that they're going to go through a couple of seasons like this in order to get back to the top?
Yeah, a little of both actually. I think Man United's sort of game plan at the moment, if it's not working, we'll just throw a bit of money at it and hope for the best. I don't think they've bought terribly well. I think they try and pluck players that are performing well in other leagues, and it just quite hasn't come off for them, really.
Do you think Louis van Gaal is doomed? Jason Gonzo just said there he thinks he's going to be gone in the summer, basically. Do you think the same?
To be honest, I could probably see him lasting till the end of the season, purely out of Ed Woodward's stubbornness. I think he's picked Van Gaal himself, and I think he's trying to stick with his man. But with Mourinho sort of breathing down his neck, it's ever increasingly harder for him to sort of stick to his man, I think.
Yeah, I think Jose Mourinho was gunning for that job anyway. Gonzo, trick question then. Man for man, are we better than Man U? Our starting 11s, if you like, strongest starting 11s out there. Do you think we're better man for man?
I knew you were going to pull a sneaky question on me today, and I've been prepared, well prepared. I actually thought you were going to ask me how many of our players would get into their team and vice versa. So I'll answer that question even though you didn't ask it. Man for man, I think Martial gets in our team. I think our centre-backs are better. I think as much in the keeper. I think De Gea's distribution's better, so he probably gets that. I think they've probably got a better right-back. We've got a better left-back. I think in midfield, our midfielders are better. Lanzini, Payet would both walk into their team. Antonio on form would probably get into their team at the moment. We've got Sacco back. But, I mean, Martial is a good signing. I think they'd probably miss Rooney.
Jason, in the summer, we just spoke that Man U going to be looking to rebuild again. Are West Ham United now going to be competing with Man U in the transfer market in the summer? Are we going to be going for the same players?
I mean, it just goes to show the sort of trajectory the two clubs are heading in. Man United seem to be somewhat on the decline, for lack of a better term, while West Ham seem to be aiming for the stars, really. I just didn't imagine the season was going to pan out the way it did, but it's what a time to be alive as a West Ham fan, is all I have to say.
Do you think so, Gonzo? Do you think we're now going to be competing with Man U for play? If both teams want a striker, say, are we literally going to be going toe to toe with Man U to try and get the best available striker? Are we now searching in the same market as the big clubs?
No, and I'll tell you why. And it's not on a negative, because we are shrewd, and what Jason said earlier, they are just chucking money at the problem. You've got to look at our purchases in the last couple of years. They've been nothing short of sensational. I looked at the team a few years back, and apart from Winston Reid, who Allardyce seemed to have improved, I looked at it and I thought, everybody seems to be worth less than the money that we bought them for. Now, you just look, and I'm not going to go through list for list because we're trying to do a shorter show here, but everybody now seems to bring them in and they increase in value. So whilst I think Man United could well go out and sort of spend £70 million on a striker, the guy from Borussia Dortmund is the guy that's been linked this week, I wouldn't be surprised if we went out and spent 20 million on a striker and got a better player.
Jason, last question on Manchester United before we talk about our own club. They're still in the Europa League. They're just outside the top four. Is this a competition, the FA Cup, that Man U could probably do without in a way?
Well, I just had a look at their fixture list before jumping on the podcast, and they've got a tough run of games. I mean, facing Liverpool tonight in the Europa League, followed by us on Sunday, only 3 days rest in between, then a return leg to Liverpool, and then the Manchester derby as well. So I feel as though we could be somewhat of an afterthought, as a kind of way of putting it, but we could take full advantage of this and really go for the jugular, I think.
Well, I completely agree with that, but I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Manchester United at the end, and hopefully as we're sticking around for Gonzo smiling because Gonzo knows what's coming. The referee at Old Trafford is the one I love. I love this referee is Martin Atkinson. If there's one thing Martin Atkinson does is he allows a physical game. He will allow Andy Carroll to plough into Chris Smalling. He will allow Andy Carroll to plough into De Gea. Martin Atkinson loves a physical game. Our record under him so far this season, we beat Arsenal 2-0 at the Emirates, we drew West Brom, we beat Bournemouth 3-1 away from home, and we drew at Anfield in the FA Cup 0-0. Man United's fixtures so far, they've had him twice. They got beat 2-1 away to Swansea with Martin Atkinson in charge, and they drew 0-0 at home. So Martin Atkinson, hopefully, he keeps up his good run for West Ham United. Let's talk about our own team, Gonzo. Winston Reid doesn't look like he's going to make it. He's only back in training tomorrow, but we've got O'Brien, Valencia and Moses all back. Selection headache for Bilic, do you think, or is it quite straightforward?
I think it's probably straightforward. He's done the tinkering. He's got his three centre backs. The system he's sort of started with the last two games. I don't think he's going to be overly concerned by Reece Oxford and what happened with Lukaku. I think he's the type of guy that possibly have faith with him. I think Kiate's looked fantastic at the back as well. Bonner played for an injury barrier, looks fit again. No, I think he'll choose. I think the selection thing is really interesting, whether he starts with Sakho or not. So, I mean, if we get a team that somehow incorporates Sakho, Payet, Lanzini and Antonio, then I think irrespective of fixture congestion, and Jason makes some excellent points there, I think we'd beat them anyway. But actually, it's not just that they've got a game against Liverpool, it's how much it's a sort of the Lancastrian derby, if you like. It's the nervous energy expended in that. That's a really, really big game, and Jason's absolutely right. Then they're going to concentrate on the league. I do think they'd take their eye off the ball. Even if they hadn't taken their eye off the ball with us, I think we'd beat them. But I think our team, whoever he puts out, we're going to go at them from the starting whistle, you know.
Well, Jason Gonzo just said there, he thinks Reece Oxford will keep his place. I don't think Reece Oxford is going to keep his place. I remember at the start of the season when he looked a bit iffy against Bournemouth, I think, in the first half, and Bilic hooked him, then we didn't see him again for a while after that. Jason, do you think he's going to stick with Reece Oxford? Or if he changes it, is he going to have to change his whole formation?
Well, this is the thing. The one selection headache Bilic has got is defence, and we are desperately short of options at the moment. I mean, I think the 3-4-3 formation has worked really well for us. And to be honest, I don't think Oxford is the one to really be faced by the big games. We've seen how he fares when you put him on as a sub or when he starts at Arsenal, who can forget on the opening day of the season. I feel as though he's young, he's still learning. You know, he's not going to be the finished product. The kid has only just finished his GCSEs. I feel as though give the guy another chance, let him redeem himself, and he'll just grow into the game as it goes on.
Who are you wanting to see up front, Jason? Gonzo Clue won Sakho up front at Old Trafford. Who are you hoping leads the line?
Again, I would say Sakho as well. I think Andy Carroll works best as a super sub. When the players get a little bit tired around that 60-minute mark, he can really go in there and hit them hard and win those hard-to-reach long balls and crosses.
Well, I think Slaven Bilic is going to change it up. I wouldn't be surprised to see Joey O'Brien right back. And the reason I think he might do that is convert back to a flat four with O'Brien, Kayate, Ogbonna and Creswell, and push Antonio right up alongside Payet and Lanzini behind Sakho and say, you four, go for it. You've got the license to thrill and the license to kill, and I think they will do it as well. We're all confident, I think. Gonzo, you sound extremely confident. The bookies have us at 3-1. Again, they're writing us off. They're saying you've got no chance. If you don't bet, that means £10 on, you get your 40 quid back. You're quadrupling your money. Show me a bank account that you can quadruple your money in 90 minutes. Gonzo, how confident are you for this one?
I don't think the bookies know anything. I mean, to be honest, Mrs. Gonzo is probably going to give me £10 pocket money this weekend. I might, elect not to spend it on Krispy Kreme donuts, and maybe I might have that £10 bet. But I'll tell you what, bookies get it wrong. Mark Lawrenson gets it wrong. Everybody gets it wrong. And this is not blind faith. We've been doing shows for a long time now. And if I think we're going to lose, I'll say it. But I just can't see it. I think we're highly motivated, and I think it is possibly third on the list of their priorities, really.
Well, it's prediction time in a minute from Gonzo, but tough question I'm throwing at you, Jason, because I've already asked Gonzo in the past of this. Slightly different twist. Would you take winning the FA Cup, but Spurs win the league?
Oh man, I mean, just for the final season at the Bowling Ground, to go out of a cup run with the two of us, to go through Green Street and Newham, I guess I'd take the cup glory because that guarantees a Europa League run as well.
Yeah, I think every West Ham fan will take that personal glory, even if it does mean putting up with Tottenham winning the league. I've got extra motivation for Sunday. I hate Man United. I hate them more than anyone else. I hate them more than Tottenham. If you take Tottenham multiplied by Millwall, I still hate Manchester United more. I grew up alongside loads of Man U fans as a kid. Everyone was Man U except me. I was supporting a championship club at one point when everybody else was winning the title. The difference is they didn't even go to I had been to Old Trafford more than them, and they supposedly support Man United. And I think that's why I just cannot stand Manchester United. I hate them so much. So please, Village, please win, because I just cannot stand them at all. We'll be back on Sunday though at halftime live, going over the first 45 minutes. It is live on BT Sports, but you can join us at halftime here on YouTube. Gonzo, prediction time. What are you going for?
3-1.
Jason, your turn. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm looking towards a 3-1 win for West Ham with hopefully a Fellaini own goal because I just can't stand the bloke.
Well, I'm going for 2-1 West Ham, and I'm going to throw an extra prediction in there, and I'm going to say Payet scores first. If that happens, we, Hamish Chat YouTube channel, are going to give away £200 cash to someone that subscribes, and all you have to do to enter is subscribe. And if Payet scores first and West Ham United win 2-1 at Old Trafford on Sunday, we will give away £200 cold hard cash to one of you people out there. So you've got nothing to lose. But if you want to keep up with the latest team news and everything going on at West Ham, pop on to clarentywho.info. If you want to talk to your West Ham fans, or you want to slag me and Gonzo off, then come on to the forum at hammerchat.boards.net. Make sure you check out our fantastic new video. It was out today on Thursday. Gonzo did the trip from Upton Park to the Olympic Stadium with all the little bits in between you need to know, and it's absolutely brilliant. Probably the best thing we have produced at Hammers Chat, so do not miss it, and we'll put the link below as well so you can be even lazier. But Jason, Gonzo, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We've been Hammers Chat. Thank you very much for listening. Come on, you Irons.